Have you ever seen the ETA to your destination and you treat it more as like a challenge than just a useful piece of information? You're like, oh yeah, let me see how much time I can shave off this trip. And then you stress yourself out, you go all out, you're dipping, you're lane switching, just swimming in and out of traffic for like no reason. And then you get to your spot and it's like you saved 2.5 minutes. I'm willing to bet any car enthusiast listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe if you're not a car enthusiast, you listen to what I just said and you're like, what in the world is bro yapping about? Either way, I think a decent amount of people will listen to this and get some value out of this. Because through a lot of trial and error, I really think I found like the perfect speed to travel, particularly on the highway. Like, I just love driving. Driving's a passion of mine. I'm the type of person where I will drive over flying, even though I also love flying. Like, I'm in the Northeast, I would actually prefer to just drive down to Florida than take a flight. I'm that type of crazy person. I love driving, it's just my passion. And I love efficiency. I just love being efficient as a driver. And what I've discovered over a lot of trial and error is 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. That is like the max and the ideal speed to travel at, mainly on the highway. And I've noticed more and more over the past, like, say 5 years or so, if you just set the cruise control to 10 over, it really just gives you the best of everything. Like, you're just not that likely to get pulled over nowadays. People book it nowadays. People drive faster than ever. So generally speaking, I mean, technically you could get pulled over for 10 over, but it just doesn't seem very likely nowadays. And I had mentioned like 10 miles per hour over is kind of the limit in my video on like how to have fun and not get pulled over, that I'm assuming a decent portion of you that are watching this video watched. But 10 over being the ideal speed, it's not just about not getting pulled over. For years now, it's like this is the ideal speed for like MPG and actually, you know, efficiency on the time it actually takes to complete the trip. And I'll be honest, like, I'm not a super mathematician, and so I had this feeling, I'm like, I think 10 over is actually the most efficient thing because of the law of diminishing returns and MPG, but I just wasn't gonna sit there and do all the math. But now we have AI, so I asked AI and I used it to help me prove mathematically, kind of like this feeling I've had, that 10 miles per hour over is the max. So I just told the AI, I was like, yo, I think 10 over is the most efficient for these reasons, blah, blah, blah. Fact check me, give me the math on this. And then it did all the calculations and it was like, yeah, basically 10 miles per hour is the ideal thing. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the results, all the math behind it. And I had to have the math in here because I could just tell you like, dude, trust me, 10 miles per hour, like that's the ideal thing. You gotta see the math to back it up. Now, really going anything faster than like 10 miles per hour over, whether you're in a 55 or a 60, a 65, 70 speed limit, doing anything more than like 10 over, it's just like literally not mathematically worth it. It's not worth the effort. And really, it's a combination of the law of diminishing returns, which if you don't know what that is for some reason, don't worry, we're gonna go over it. It's the law of diminishing returns. It is also the chance of getting pulled over if you do more than 10 over. And it's also just idiot drivers nowadays. People are dumber than ever. People camp the left lane more than ever. So it's like, even if you try to speed, like, you're just eventually gonna pull up on somebody who's camping in the left lane. They're not gonna move. And I've hinted at this before. I'm gonna make a video all about the truckers. There's like trucker forums where they admit, have you ever seen this where you're driving and two trucks will be parallel to each other, maybe on a 2-lane highway, and they just like aren't moving, they're just like camping, and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why can't he pass? It seems almost intentional. It is intentional. Like, there's actually troll truck drivers out there. These jackasses are so bored, they literally will create those barriers. Like, they're doing it on purpose, bro, if you ever seen it. It's not an accident. So you just have all these combination of trolls and bad drivers out there that just basically make speeding like just literally not worth it. All right, so I will try to put the math up on the screen, okay, to help visualize it. But I'm also gonna try to appeal to people who just like to listen to the video too. I always try to make my videos like listenable because I'm someone who likes to listen to the content on the side too. You know, you're doing chores, you're busy, whatever. Okay, first let's talk about the law of diminishing returns on just like the time savings you can potentially get from speeding. What the law of diminishing returns is, hopefully I just have to explain this once. This applies to like most things in life, if not all things. There is normally like a curve when it comes to the results you get out of doing something. where there's basically like an ideal range in which you want to operate. And if you go outside that range, the gains start to decrease. Let's visualize it for speeding. Okay, let's assume we have to go on a 60-mile trip on the highway, and it's a 55-mile-per-hour highway. That's the speed limit, 55 miles per hour. Now, if you go 10 miles per hour over on this 55-mile-per-hour highway, okay? So if you do 65 in a 55 over a 60-mile trip, you will save yourself about 9.6 minutes. So doing 10 miles per hour over on this trip, if you do 65 instead of 55, you will get to the destination 9.6 minutes faster. That's pretty good. Now, if you do the same trip and you go 75 miles per hour, another 10 miles per hour instead of 65. So instead of doing 65 in a 55, you do 75 in a 55. The additional time you save is only 7 less minutes. So the jump from going 55 to 65, you save yourself 9.6 minutes on the trip. But the jump from 65 to 75 only saves you 7 minutes. 7 minutes less. So it's a 2.6 minute reduction in the benefit for speeding. Same thing if you do 85. It actually goes down a lot. If instead of going 75, you go 85 miles per hour, the benefit is only 5.6 less minutes. That is the law of diminishing returns in action. Each additional 10 miles per hour faster you go above 55, the amount of time you save decreases, which means the faster you speed, the less of an actual benefit you're getting in saved time. That is the law of diminishing returns in action on speeding. The largest benefit from speeding is an additional 10 miles per hour over in a 55 to a 65. So it's really that first 10 miles per hour. Now this is all relative. If you're on a 70 mile per hour speed limit highway, of which there's many in the United States, or some even higher, bumping your speed up from 7 to 80, you do 10 over, you're not going to get that much of a benefit actually. You'll still get some benefit, but this is why you'll notice if you do 10 over on a 55, you will save more time than if you do 10 over in a 70. Now, here's the real kicker, and this is why I mentioned in the start, you got the idiot drivers, you got the trolls. All the math I just gave you, right? So going from 55 to 65 and saving that 9.6 minutes and how it keeps going down as you go up, these are under perfect conditions. This is assuming that over that 60 miles, you're able to maintain that 10 miles per hour. That 15, that 20, the entire time with absolutely no slowdown whatsoever. The second you can't go any faster, the speeding time benefit decreases. Now, let's take a quick guess. Think about your own experience, all right? Watch, pop quiz. Are you more likely to have your speed slowed down because of a troll driver, a camping driver in the left lane, if you're going 65 miles per hour or if you're going 85? How more often do you end up running into a lane camper or a troll when you're going 10 miles per hour over, or if you're even going the speed limit, or if you're doing like 20, 30 over? The faster you go, the more likely it is that you're gonna run into a left lane camper, somebody who's just going way too slow and takes forever to move over. You're gonna roll into a troll truck driver or any other obstruction. You could run into a merge, it could be like construction, it could just be a natural slowdown. You're coming up on an exit ramp and people are getting on slow because they're idiots, right? This is the problem, bro. It's the idiot drivers. Come up on an exit ramp, so people are getting on way too slow. So then you got the idiots in the right lane. They're like, oh, I gotta get over. So you got the person barely going the speed limit who sees people merging, and they're like, oh my god. And then they go over to the left, and they just camp out in the left lane. They slow everything down. That cuts into your savings from speeding. So when you combine that with the fact that the law of diminishing returns kicks in, and the faster you go, every 10 miles per hour you go, every mile per hour you go, we're just using 10 to make it easy, but every mile per hour faster than around 10 that you go, above basically 65, you get less of a benefit from the speeding. Since you get less of a benefit, you are more affected by anything that slows you down, right? So to get that faster 7 minutes that you would get doing 75 versus 65, you have to maintain the 75 for the entire 60-mile trip that we're talking about. The second you go above 75, you can't get that additional fewer 7-minute benefit. It starts to evaporate. So anytime you see someone like booking it on the highway, maybe you're in a 55 and you can tell they're doing like 75, 80, but they keep getting caught behind cars. Have you ever seen that happen before? They keep getting caught behind cars. Maybe traffic is too heavy for them to like really dip and swim, and you're just chilling. Maybe you're just chilling with the cruise on. Maybe you're just doing 60. And then like a couple minutes later, maybe it's time for you to exit, and then you get to the exit ramp and you see that person that was trying to swim and they're just sitting in the line waiting for the light, right? So they do all that work and sped, and then they ended up at the same spot as you. And the reason that happens is it's math. You can't beat the math. Nowadays, it's just extremely hard to actually maintain anything more than 10 over because of all the NPC drivers. It's like, it's hard enough to just maintain a consistent 10 miles per hour over. That is like already hard enough. It's like anything more than that and the maths just starts killing you. Now, obviously there's gonna be times where there's not a lot of traffic, right? So I'm in central Pennsylvania, as you guys know from my videos. I go back to New York a lot because I have all my family's basically in New York. Generally speaking, for the first half of that trip, depending on the day, there can be like literally no traffic at all. So you can do a good hour to 2 hours of that trip. You can very easily maintain 10 over. You could probably do 15 over. I just do the 10 over. But once you get about halfway through that trip, that's it. The closer you get to New York, all the traffic starts picking up, and that's it. It's just, I actually slow down. I'll just go the speed limit at that point. Or I'll just do 5 over because it's just not even worth it. Even at 10 over, you just set the cruise control, and before you know, you roll up on a camper. A left lane camper holding up all the traffic, and all the speeding benefit is lost. It's the math, bro. And really the fundamental issue with it is that in the United States, our entire driving system, all our laws and everything, they're all geared to the lowest common denominator. Like if you speed, you can get a ticket and get punished. But if somebody is in a 55 on the highway and they're doing like 45, there's usually no penalty for that. That's perfectly legal. So one person could just hold up traffic, and the people who camp in the left lane, they very rarely, if ever, get pulled over. So it's like an NPC's world. Everything's designed around the lowest common denominator driver. Usually there's a shoulder. It's like, in theory, if the laws allowed it, you could just dip on past them and it would be fine. But if you do that, you know, that's a super ticket, right? That's a set of tickets. They're gonna bring a book. Cop's gonna come back to your window with a roll of tickets. Even though it would be much more efficient if, you know, we could just drive around the NPCs. They're only going like 40 miles per hour anyway. It's not even dangerous. I think you get my point. Just think about your own experience. If you set that cruise control, or even if you just drive like 15, 20 over, you know, we all do it sometimes. How far can you actually go before you have a left lane camper slows you down? And it can take quite some time to get around them. Even if they only slow you down for like 30 seconds, that significantly cuts into the savings benefit that you get from even speeding in the first place. The math does not lie. Any type of slowdown thing, anything that slows you down significantly reduces your time savings. Now, not to mention, so again, 10 miles per hour over, you're probably not going to have an issue, especially nowadays. Like people book it, man. Like they really book it. I feel like cops are really looking for people more in the 15, 20 and up range because there's plenty of them. It's like they could pull you over 10. They can give you a ticket for that, but it's really to their benefit to just wait because like 10 seconds later, they'll get somebody doing 80 and that's a much juicier ticket, right? So 10 over, you're pretty safe. The second you start going over 10, now you have to put so much more effort into paying attention for police. You got to go back and watch my video on how not to get pulled over. You got to be thinking constantly. If you just set the cruise to like 10 over, you really don't have to watch. Like I honestly, all the time, I have the cruise set to 10 and I go right past like state troopers on the highway. They don't even look at me. I'll just be chilling in the right lane, 10 over. Never been pulled over. I don't even think they look at you. Like I've literally passed them. Like bro's got the gun out, you know, the radar gun, and I passed him doing the 10. He didn't even look at me. He's still zoned in, locked in on that gun, looking for that person doing 80. But the second you go over, now you have to put so much more effort into your drive. You got to really pay attention. And it's not just for the police. It is more dangerous. It is more dangerous to go fast. Now, if you're watching this video, you're a car enthusiast like me, I think you're probably like me. I think they could double the speed limits and you probably would be okay. Like, I think you and I we could go over to Germany and go to the Autobahn, and I think we'd fit right in. We'd be fine. However, it's still more dangerous to speed, so you do have to pay more attention. Sure, we could handle 90 miles per hour, no problem. But even if you're a good driver, you still have to pay way more attention doing 80 than you do just setting the cruise to like 60, 65. And then, of course, if you're thinking of lane dipping and swimming, then, I mean, geez, that's like max effort. You're putting in a full-time job effort of work, and you're basically not getting any benefit even on the time. Now, the math shows that the time savings are pretty negligible, again, because of that law of diminishing returns. But it gets worse than that. You got to look at the fuel economy. Now, we all know if you go faster, you're going to have a lower MPG. I think I'd be shocked if anybody's watching this and doesn't know that like 50 to 60 is like the ideal highway speed for MPG on like 99% of cars. Like, I'm assuming you know that. Now, what I did is I told the AI, I was like, research for me. I want to know on average, on the average car, how much does the MPG actually decrease as you increase your speed? So I told the AI, assume the car gets like 30 MPG at 55 miles per hour. Give me hard data. What is the average decrease in MPG as you go up in speed? Now, if the car gets around 30 miles to the gallon at 55 miles per hour, you bump up the speed by 10 miles per hour and you go 65, you'll get about 27.6 MPG on average, which is about 8% worse. Again, these are averages. Some cars, there's almost no difference between like 55 and 65. But the AI at least has the numbers in the ballpark, like its cited sources. It seems to be pretty accurate. Now, so you go 10 miles per hour over, you do 65, 8% worse MPG. Okay, look at this though. You bump it up to 75, you do another 10, your gas mileage goes down by 23%. That's like a huge decrease. And then if you do 85, you're gonna go down to like 20 MPG, 33% worse. Again, on average. Now, using $3.50 a gallon as an average. Some places it's gonna be higher, it's gonna be lower. And an average of like 15,000 miles a year. Again, we're just doing averages here, okay? But it proves the point. If you do 10 over, if you drove 15,000 miles a year and you're spending about $3.50 a gallon and your car got about 30 MPG at 55, it would cost you another $152 a year to speed and do 10 miles per hour over. That's not bad. That's like a little over $10 a month. And you can save up to 9.6 minutes on every hour you drive, basically. So I think most of us would pay that. Like, that's worth it. But if you add another 10 miles per hour and let's say you do 75, it's an extra $500 a year in gas. Again, this is the law of diminishing returns in actions. The faster you go, the worse your MPG is going down. The return is the good MPG. So doing another 10 miles per hour over, even if you can't fully maintain that 75 miles per hour, the second you start going over 65, you just start going in your wallet, and it can cost you up to $50 a month practically. And then if you do 85 miles per hour, I mean, damn, it's just like $80 a month practically. The thing is too, this MPG is assuming that you could just set the clicker, set the cruise control and go. But in the real world, if you even try to maintain those speeds, you're gonna hit those left lane campers, right? And now you're gonna have to speed back up. You can't even maintain the speed. And by the time the left lane camper moves out of the way, you're probably gonna give it extra gas and speed up extra fast because you're so frustrated that they wouldn't move out of the way fast enough. You're just burning extra gas. So the math shows the second you go over 10 miles per hour, you're not saving as much time, like literally, and you're going in your wallet because your MPG starts going down. Now, for some people, you might see the decreased MPG and you're like, I don't care, I'll pay that. So, you know, that is a personal decision. And I guess same thing with the time savings. Like, yeah, you get less time savings as you go faster, but for some of you, you're like, I'll pay the money, I don't care. I'll pay the increased gas costs, and I want that extra 5 minutes. Okay, but that brings us to number 3. That pretty much wipes everything out. It's the ticket risk. The second you start going over 10, now you're in pullover range. Because again, they could get you at 10. I'm saying, from my experience, I think it's really unlikely. But they could pop you at 10. They could. But you go over 10, now you're in pullover zone. 15 over, 20 over, you might get picked. And this was another thing I needed the AI to do the math for me, because I just, I didn't want to do it myself, if I'm being real. It's like, think of how much a ticket costs, like a speeding ticket. So you're going like 75 in a 55, you're 20 over, maybe you're 80 in a 55. The cost of a speeding ticket nowadays is insane. you'll be lucky if the fine is only like $300 to $500. And honestly, that fine is like the least of your worries, because most speeding tickets nowadays come with some kind of like points, and it will cause your insurance to increase. The AI says it's an average of like $400 a year over 3 years increase insurance if you get a speeding ticket. So that adds up quick. That, it's an average of $1,200 over 3 years, $400 a year. So you got to pay hundreds of dollars in fines. You're going to probably pay over a G just in the insurance. Then you have to factor in the time value that you lose. So first of all, you get pulled over. Can tell you from experience, it usually isn't too fast. They usually like to take the time. Sometimes you're in and out of there quick, but it could easily be half an hour. They don't care. If you have anything else wrong with your car, boom, just add some more tickets on there. And then now you have to deal with the ticket. A lot of them, if you get hit with a speeding ticket, it might require you to come to court. You can't always pay them like by mail. Even if you're not required to show up, it's usually better to fight the ticket, plead not guilty, and go in there and do the little plea bargain, because you'll get a less fine. Maybe you'll avoid the points, but that's going to be a day off work. So yeah, you might be able to duck the insurance increase by avoiding the points, but you're going to have to give up a day of work at least, and you're still going to pay a fine. And if you're speeding fast enough to even get the ticket in the first place, you're already spending more on your gas, right? When you work the math out, it only takes one ticket to mathematically wipe out potentially years of all the benefits you got from speeding. Like, that's something I noticed from getting speeding tickets in college. I was like, damn, this hurts. This hurts. This is pretty expensive. All right, you guys got it. You got it. I get it. I'll stop. Or at least you're not gonna catch me. The system, like I said before, the system is designed for the lowest common denominator driver, the NPC driver, and it's designed to punish speeders heavily. Like, how smooth-brained is it to be speeding for like a year straight, going all out, like putting so much effort into it, spending extra on gas. You get one ticket, all the time you saved is now wiped out. It's gone. Completely gone. Not worth it. So if you only have like a 15-mile commute, the AI says one ticket will probably wipe out 1.7 years of time savings. If you have like a 30-mile commute, and these are typically the average commute is like 15 to 30 miles. Over a 30-mile commute, you will lose 0.9 years of time savings, so like 3 months. So on a 30-mile commute, you'll lose basically a year. It says 0.9 years, so it's basically a year of time savings gone. And by the way, these calculations, the 1.7 years and basically the 1 year, these are assuming for the entire time you were speeding that you maintained a perfect 20 miles per hour over. But as we know, you're not going to be able to do that. Now, obviously, the police aren't going to be looking to pull people over in like traffic jams, right? Or when people are stuck behind like left lane campers and trolls. So really, if you try to do like 20 over or anything like that, you're not going to be able to maintain it anyway. And the times you are able to maintain it, you're really risking a ticket. Like, you're really risking it, because during the slowdowns, you can't get pulled over anyway. So when it says 1.7 years of time savings in 1 year, it's really like way more. It's probably closer to like 2.5, 3 years of time savings, more like 1.5, 2 years over 15 and 30-mile commutes. So I think that really covers most of it, okay? It's those three things. All these things combined, it's done. It's that doing more than 10 over, you don't really get that much of a time saving, because in the real world, it's just hard to do more than 10 over usually. You're going to decrease your fuel economy, so you're spending more on gas, and that's just the gas. We're not even counting the fact that the faster you go, you're going to wear your tires out faster. You might wear the brakes out faster if you're having to brake. Everything else is probably fine though, like engine transmission, just going 20 miles per hour is not going to be a problem. It's really, you're going to use up more gas and you're going to wear out your tires more quickly. So you're spending more money going faster. You're not really saving that much more time. And if you get one ticket, wipes out years of speeding. You cannot beat this math. Now, all this stuff, if you just do 10 miles per hour over, the jump from 55 to 65 miles per hour, for example, you save almost 10 minutes, almost risk-free. The jump from 55 to 65, your MPG is only 8% worse, so it's really like not that much. And then you don't have to risk a ticket. It's like very low chance you're gonna get a ticket. And like actually maintaining 10 over is like actually doable. Sometimes, I mean, even just doing 10 over sometimes is asking a lot out of the NPCs who just will not move over, and the troll truck drivers. But regardless, the math is the math. 10 miles per hour over. It's the perfect speed. Gives you the best of everything. You'll save yourself time. Not really gonna hurt your wallet too much on the MPG. you're not gonna get pulled over, most likely. So my advice, dude, set the cruise to 10 over and enjoy. Just relax. Take the stress off. Obviously, once in a while, you want to have a little fun. Somebody rolls up on you. They want to swim with you. Okay, like whatever, you know. That's when you can put your max effort into keeping your head on a swivel, okay? But other than that, just chill. Just chill. You can't beat the math. The math will defeat you. Trust me, I know. I got a lot of tickets. All right, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And that's all I got for now. So I'll see you in the next one.